Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Forum Thread podcast number 158. I am returning guest Wadabra, and here with me today I have returning guest Seawin90.
Hello.
Returning guest Zap45.
Hey, everybody.
And returning guest Chaos Mana.
Hey.
How does it feel to be a guest on your own show, guys? Feels pretty good, right?
It feels great. Yeah,
I, for one, am thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Also, thank you for having me.
You are welcome.
I'm indifferent about it.
Well, no one really cares.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's how it should be.
Wait, so see, when was the last time you were on the podcast? I don't even remember. It feels like it's been a long time.
Not
124?
too long.
I feel
Sure.
like it was... the last most rememberable one is where we just basically only talked about League. It was like 124, 126.
Okay, so it was like 30 podcasts ago. And you're like, it was only like
No,
120.
I was on one before that.
It was on a science
Or
one,
after
like
that.
right after we changed the format.
Oh, yeah.
There was
okay.
a heavy one where I talked about programming for a long time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh,
that
dang
was
it, Zach.
120... No, hold on. 135? Shit.
I think that was the last one I was on. Just about everyone I'm on, I try to control the conversation and stuff I like.
Yeah.
I'm very selfish.
Well, you know what? Selfishness is one of my favorite words. I approve.
Yes.
So,
Now that-
before he takes over the conversation about something he wants to talk about, I better hurry up and say, hey, let's talk about this announcement Stephen Hawking made earlier this week about managing to, like, send something 1/5 the speed of light to the next star system over, because I think that's pretty fucking epic.
I didn't know that they could get even close to that.
Yeah. It's amazing. 1/5. People are like, that's probably nothing, right? Like, the average Joe will be like, yeah, whatever, 1/5 the speed of light.
It
But
sounds
people-
slower when you say it like that, but if you actually say the amount, like, of miles per hour
Like,
or meters per
yeah,
second that you're actually going, it's incredible.
Or you compare it to, like, the record that we broke, like land to air, or like just how fast humans have been able to travel within our own atmosphere, and then like, oh, it's like 1/100th of the speed of what they're trying to accomplish, and it's like, oh, well, fuck.
Okay.
Those are made up metrics or statistics, but I'm just giving you an example. Like, it is the record that we've broken as a humanity when it comes to land speed or like air to air speed is like infinitesimal comparatively to the fucking 1/5 of the goddamn speed of light, man.
Well, yeah, and the space, the amount of space that has to be traveled is 25 trillion miles away. It's our closest star system, and that's how far away it is.
Jesus Christ.
So, what was it? How many? I don't remember how many light years. 4.37 light years is how far away Alpha Centauri star cluster is. So, what they're proposing, what they're going to do is they're calling it Starshot, which is using these little probes, these cute little probes. Like, seriously, they're tiny. They call them nanocrafts. And, like, when they're launched into space, they'll have this big-ass solar sail open up. Like, the sail, I'm looking at a picture here, and it looks like, kind of like the solar cell is the size of a dog, and the little probe is the size of a tick on the dog. Like, it's barely even anything in comparison to its light sail. And they want to, like, have these laser arrays, the frickin' laser beams, around the Earth in orbit, and they're just gonna shoot those laser beams at those giant-ass solar sails until it accelerates fast enough to get there in about 20 years. So that's way better than anything that we've been able to come up with up until this point.
I like how
It's pretty
going that fast, it's gonna be there within a time that we'll be able to see what happens. Not anytime soon, but eventually it'll get there.
We'll be alive when it gets there, right? Oh, dude, how cool would it be? Is like, just out of luck, we hit a planet that's like basically Earth, and it's like aliens, but like in the 60s or something.
They send their like thing our direction, and they just so magically happen to collide by the rare chance.
Oh, that'd be kind of weird and absolutely the worst.
Yeah, this is now. They're not going to be able to learn. Well, I'm sure they're going to be able to learn revolutionary things, but it's not going to be like what we did with Mars, where we have like the little rover that can take like high definition images and stuff like that. Because these are going to be tiny probes, but there could be a lot of them. But they are hoping to learn like at least some preliminary information, like probably about chemical makeup of the stars and whether or not there are planets orbiting them, and what something that we haven't been able to detect thus far, just from our near observation, but actually like get up in there with some real probing data. So I don't know. This is nowhere near ready. I don't remember how long they're saying it would take to get this off the ground, but it's got a lot of big names behind it and several names that have a lot of money to throw at it. What was the other one?
One of the Russian dudes is like a billionaire or some shit like that.
Yeah, and he's like, "Let's do it. This is good." That's me imitating his voice.
Let's do it.
It's like, I have the vodka when we do this. Stephen Hawking, I put funnel in mouth.
I'm really enjoying the method that they're actually propelling these things just by shooting giant lasers at them, and then it makes it go faster.
It's like a dream come true, right? It's like instead of like shooting, have a little laser pointer that your dog follows around the room. You're like, let's just aim it at this space and.
Oh my gosh! Imagine like some like really young astronauts are in charge of these lasers, and then they just like play tricks on the people down below by shining that laser on Earth. So
I think that would be very dangerous.
I know, but I'd like to imagine it functions like a lot weaker, like a focused like version of a laser pointer. So we just see a giant red dot kind of going across buildings. Like, oh, it's over here. It's over here now,
dude. What if the laser pointer thing works like a laser pointer with your dog, and that's how we get alien life? They're like, ooh, shiny! And they just come chasing after it.
Mr. President, we see a giant cat ship approaching the planet.
They're everywhere!
Build a wall. Oh, no.
All your catnip are belong to us.
Oh, your bone catnip.
We trade what they consider like just trash, which is actually gold and like diamonds, for catnip.
Well, every giant sentient species race thing of cats has got to have their something or other. It makes perfect sense if you ask me.
Precisely. It's just when they find out we've been enslaving their brothers. That's brothers in arms. That's when things are going to get hairy. It's going to have like cat versus human wars. It's going to be ridiculous.
No, the cats will be like, no, we've enslaved them. They take care of us and wait on us hand and foot. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah, they'll get to Earth and they'll be like... That's what
you hope the cats will say, but maybe they won't. Maybe they're assholes.
I'm thinking that's what the cats actually think. I don't think them sticking up for us. I'm sure the cats are like, yeah, man, these guys are pretty awesome. Except when they put spray things on the counter.
Well, that's like why especially the cat behavior stereotypes even started up, was they think you're giant hairless cats, so they try to teach you how to hunt by bringing you dead things. Or, no, wait, they think you're too weak to fend for yourself, so that's why they give you the gifts. I said that a little bit wrong.
Yeah, I heard a theory about that. And I also heard a theory about, like, the perpetual kitten, like, mindset, too. Like, that's why they put up with you for so long, because, like, they're perpetually in that role, like, oh, you're my mother, so you take care of me. That's where I get my food.
So it's like a mindset kind of thing?
I don't know. Also, it could be a combination of two. I think these people really don't know, and they just like are trying to pull out something that sounds smart. But if there is a race of alien cats that's going to come and visit Earth, they're going to take one look at the domesticated cats and be like, oh, these bitches already got mind control going on. Problem done. And they just leave.
Problem solved.
I meant solved.
No worries. This fucking bullshit's going off in the chat right now. Fucking... Fantastic Barry and Perdania getting up in the business with the air cars again. Look, there's a few things that grind my gears. Okay, 1, Drake. 2, Bigotry. 3, air cars.
4, Josh.
Why is Drake above Bigotry?
Okay, look.
Explain that one to me.
His music is terrible, and it's not a tiered system.
Is that above?
It's not a tiered system.
If you ordered it, it's a tiered fucking system.
I said no, it is not. It's just it's bullet
When
point.
you say I love these are my favorite foods, you list them as tiered. You're like, I love this, I love this, I love this, and your first one's always your favorite.
No.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Seawin.
Therefore, you
bullshit.
Don't you? Drake is worse than Bigotry
because his music is awful. I said it. I said it, and I'll say it again.
I don't care if you think his music is awful. It's that you think it's so bad, it's worse than Bigotry.
It's not a tiered system. When I list things, you know what? From now on, I'll do A, B, and C. How about that?
That's still tiered.
It's not fucking tiered.
Would you want to be? If we find another planet and they say you guys will be World A and we'll be World B, would you be like?
No,
yeah,
I don't
right,
give a
World
fuck.
A.
It's like, okay, cool, we're World B anyway. Moving on. That makes sense because guess
you're
what?
dyslexic, so you don't understand that there's a difference.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Everyone duck!
A and B are so... They're not similar enough for my dyslexia to misplace them. I mean, to mistake them. They most certainly will be misplaced when I'm typing or spelling or reading, but that's a whole other matter. But more importantly, I want to get back to the fucking air cars and how impractical they are.
Tell me what the fucking air car is, because right now I'm just sitting here scratching my head wondering if I should risk typing it into my search engine and then having to remove the clicking sound later.
No worries. So we were talking about like a whole bunch of different sciencey stuff on podcast 151, the last podcast Jason aired on.
Because we are a bunch of smart people, after all.
Precisely. And we were talking about like alternative car, we were talking about like the electric cars, and then we went into solar, and we did all these other stuff, and we talked about how air energy is actually not a infinite source. It is a finite source, and that sounds crazy and super dumb, right?
No, this is true.
Yeah,
because the more stuff you have like in the way of the wind, you're going to slow the wind down, and yeah, eventually it's absorbed. It's kind of like sound. Like you put all the little ridges inside a room to cancel out the sound, and then it stops. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. But the reason I at first I thought this was ludicrous, and then Lozelda explained this to me. Our resident scientist, Lozelda, was like, yo, this shit's whack. Check out this article about how a town in fucking California was once a vineyard, and then they put up a whole bunch of windmills for wind energy, and it fucked up their vineyards, man. And I'm like, shit, dude, that's crazy. And then we transported back from the 90s, and we don't say whack anymore. That's just weird.
Yeah, I think she would have used the term bitchin', not whack.
Bitchin'. I mean, it's not...
I would prefer to see Lozelda write up a fucking lab report, and it just say in there, "Yo, this shit is whack."
Yo,
that's awesome. Report.
That reminds
boss,
me, like,
man.
Thug Notes, but in science.
I mean, that would work probably. Amazing. It's just like post documents in a way that's a really ridiculous language, and then a lot of people.
And if it's anything like the way where Ken works, like she could create a report like that and have a legit report. And then, like, turn one in with the other, and because of the way the rules work, you can't really throw anything out, so the Thug Note version would have to be permanently and forever filed with the legit one together.
Yeah.
Like, whoever, like, digs that out sometime in the future will be like, what the fuck?
That's actually a super brilliant idea, because there's this channel called Wisecrack that does, like, a really cool, like, in-depth analysis, like, on a philosophical level for
Earthling
movies.
cinema.
Oh, Earthling Cinema is so amazing.
With Garrick's, is it Garrick's Wormuloid?
Wormuloid or something like that. Yeah, so like...
I love his eyebrows.
Yeah, me too. They're spectacular. But like Thug Notes, but in science. Like explaining science via Thug Notes would be fucking a brilliant addition to Wisecrack. I might actually have to pitch that or something. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. I've only watched a couple of their Thug Note videos. It's just not my cup of tea. I like the Earthling cinema, and I like the hidden meanings behind video series, and when they do the like in-depth breakdowns of like Rick and Morty, like what the general themes are. What do they call it? It's
like the 8-bit breakdown. That's for video games and stuff
it's
like
not
that, but it also transitions.
Philosophy, 8-bit philosophy. That's what I was trying to think of.
That's what it was.
Oh, so, speaking of philosophy, it's not really philosophy, but it's something I'm really interested in hearing what your guys' opinions are. Please tell me you guys know about the Ghost in the Shell movie that's been greenlit.
Ah, yes. Where a Anglo-Saxon female plays the lead, when in fact, Ghost in the Shell's Officer Akira should be a Asian woman.
Really?
Yeah, it's not just any.
Discussing?
It's not just any Anglo-Saxon actress.
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson is playing the lead actress, and instead of a Japanese actress.
Is it like on the same how they like decided to just like randomly change Green Lantern's race?
According to they changed Green Lantern's race
in the movie version.
Well, I mean, Hal Jordan came before the Green Lantern that we know and love from the League of Legends. So, I mean, unless there were talks about, or not League, Jesus Christ, the League of Justice, Justice League. There we go. Words are hard. Haven't had my cup of tea yet.
We're gonna get into the comic book Green Lanterns. There's 3 different Green Lanterns from Earth.
Yes.
Two are white. One is black. John Stewart is black. If that's
John
what
Stewart.
Talking about.
Yes, that is who we're referring to. Yeah. But
so
what we're saying, Dirk?
The interesting thing about this, so you would think that Ghost in the Shell, it should have a proper. I think is it Japanese? Yeah, I think it's Japanese.
Japanese. It is, Japanese.
I for a minute my brain died and forgot where.
No worries, I'm right there with you, Dirk. I'm right there with you.
But it's Japanese. So a lot of people are like it should be a Japanese actress, especially with the success of like the Jungle Book. So I particularly didn't love it, but I really like the fact that they had. I believe the kid is an Indian kid. He definitely was not. It was definitely not white, and it was refreshing to actually see someone who looked like he belonged in that part of the world. I'm like, okay, I totally
Not just
get
this
it.
out of place, like weird person.
I would have preferred a Canadian.
But,
now that would have been fun.
So this is the interesting thing to me. In this particular article that I saw, the Tokyo-based publisher is like, yeah, we're cool with Scarlett Johansson. She's kind of awesome. And
she's a decent actor.
Like in an interview, they were like, yeah, we think she's well cast. We didn't really expect, a Japanese actress. Why not? So it's like, it's more the United States that has a problem with it. Japan is like, no, we're cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Is like, I'm sure if Scarlett Johansson didn't absolutely fucking nail her performance, they wouldn't have fucking cast her. But at the same time, you have to think about, like, at the end of the line for a film is, like, we need big names to draw in a crowd, and Scarlett Johansson is one of those big names. So
I don't think you would need a big name to get people's butts into seats for Ghost in the Shell. Like, the name itself is iconic enough. Like, people would be like, hells to let me in there.
And it's kind of like Star didn't they do that with Star Wars, though, with, like, completely unknown people and just the iconic name Star Wars, and it still did really well.
Ghost in the Shell is nowhere near as big as Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
Ghost in the Shell does need. It is not as known mainstream as Star Wars. It definitely does need a larger.
I don't know.
Named actress to
draw in other people than just the hardcore fans.
I see what you're saying, Siwin, but at the same time, it's like I feel like since this is it's a new intellectual property as far as film goes, and if you cast someone like Scarlett Johansson, who is such a big name, she's in the Avengers, she's had her own feature science fiction-y films like Lucy, that. She's already you already look at her face and you identify her as these other characters. So instead of seeing whatever the main character from Ghost in the Shell's name is, I don't remember what it is now. Instead of seeing
something Asa Akira or something like that.
Yes, but instead of seeing her, you're just gonna see like Scarlett Johansson. Instead of seeing this new character, you're just gonna see her playing this character. That's my main concern with not having a new person to fill this role with this new intellectual property.
I mean, yeah, I feel like there's two sides of the fence, right? Where it's like I feel like sometimes people really are too politically correct and worry way too much about whitewashing stuff. And at this on the other side of the thing, on the fence, excuse me, if there was a Japanese actor that performed like 80 times better than Scarlett Johansson did, and they cast Scarjo or whatever the fuck her nickname is, because yes,
that's a terrible nickname.
It's out there.
Hates
fucking
it,
yeah.
sure.
Let's not.
Anyway, if they picked her just because she was decent at the role, but she also could draw in or put butts in seats, then fucking bullshit. But I feel like people who would make a movie about something so niche and like well loved by a very like a cult of fans, they're gonna try to do the best they can and do the justice by it. So I feel like we should try to take
like
that
Resident Evil, right?
Well,
No.
it seems like it'd be better in a lot of cases to like not worry about it's this race or it's that race, but just to stay like as true to the like original source material as you can.
Oh, fuck me! I got the main character's name wrong.
Gosh dang it.
Motoko Kusanagi.
This is why I didn't even try. Okay.
So I just call her the Major.
I just
call
call
her
her
the
the Major. The more important thing, what's so fucking dumb, is that the most intriguing part of her being a character isn't the fact that she's a woman, or isn't the fact that she's a fucking Asian woman either. It's all of the other intricacies of the writing and the plot. Like I watched
it's her boobs.
Ghost in the Shell,
and her boobs aren't big enough.
I watched Ghost in the Shell and Standalone Complex, and I like that universe. I like the cyberpunk kind of futuristic dystopian universe, and all the philosophy that comes with it. It's very
plus
interesting.
big boobs. What if they CG her tits to make them bigger?
Oh, you know what? They did talk about how they did do VFX on a actor to make them look more Asian.
They did that in Cloud Atlas, didn't they?
I don't know, actually.
That would have made sense in Cloud Atlas because they used the same actors across different nationalities.
Yeah.
And stuff, so that would have made sense for them to use visual effects and makeup. Do you think they would have used more makeup though? Because that's
a little bit easier.
Film.
It's more believable when they just do good makeup.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was for like a background character and like way in the background for an extra. But they deleted the scene anyway because it wasn't relevant. So it's like
talk about wasting the money.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this. I'm gonna look it up, but I'm sure this movie has a decent.
It's like X-Men 3 blowing so much of their money on that visual effect to make Professor Xavier look younger in those flashback scenes when they should have just hired a better screenwriter.
Yeah. Like, you watch those movies now, and it's like, Jesus Christ, they should have done more practical effects. CGI and, like, it doesn't age well, man. It does not age well.
They only in
some of it
certain
does
times. And I think, like, the movies kind of like Jurassic Park and those that use it sparingly in combination with practical effects, that's when it really works, and that's when it really feels timeless. Like a lot of Christopher Nolan, is that his name? That is the director's name, right?
Yes,
his films.
That is a director's name.
Dark Knight, Inception, that type of thing.
Yes, that's
where he loves to do the practical effects, but he also will incorporate minimum usually CG effects to enhance everything that he's done in live action, so that you really have trouble telling when the practical effect ends and when the computer-generated images begin.
I love it when it's really well blended. Versus
Yeah,
just this is this awkward CG just to show off what we can do.
That's right. Like, Inception blew my mind because it's very visual effects heavy and does have a lot of CG in it, but I never found it distracting. Like, unlike X-Men The Last Stand, where I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, well, this is a really pretty computer-generated thing that I'm looking at. Like, I never, like, got thrown out of the movie. I was just like, I'm in a dream sequence right now. The city really is, like, folding in half over them. I mean, this is so fucking cool. Like, it doesn't even look fake. I totally bought it all the way. And I'm like, kudos. So yeah, anytime they do that, it's good. You just don't do, like, Star Wars prequels and just have everything else CG. It's bad. Don't do that.
I haven't watched the prequels in a while.
You're not missing anything. Don't bother.
Well, I wouldn't be worried that I'd be missing anything. I'd be more curious to see what I didn't, or what I already missed before.
It would make a good case study. We should do that for a movie night. We'll all get drunk watching prequels, and we could take shots every time we see a CG character.
Oh, God, please no.
Half shot, quarter shots.
I mean, if you want us to make it to the end of the movie, you're gonna have to be a little bit less strict.
So
I would never want to make it to the end of those movies.
Yeah, goddamn. So I'm seeing a few different budgets. It's anywhere between 5 to 10 million for a budget, but I want to get I want to pin it down because there's a lot of other information.
Not a lot of money.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot of money, right?
That's like an indie film.
2017. Okay, 100 million.
Okay, I would believe that.
That's 100. That's a lot of fucking.
That is a lot of money. Now that's the type of
in the
budget.
Grand scheme of things,
Scarlett Johansson, she's an expensive bitch now. You're not going to get her in your film without a lot of money. So that's.
It'd be funny if it was 90% her fee and the rest of it was the actual movie.
No, that is never the case. Some actors maybe 30, maybe 25 or 30% of the.
That's an interesting thing. A quick aside, it's what is the largest percentage an actor has taken out of a total movie budget?
I think Robert Downey Jr. in the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one that actually did a percentage. No one else has ever done before him, no one else had really ever thought of doing, at least that I heard of, had done a percentage in any of those big movies.
Yeah, I remember
looking this up on Wikipedia right now.
Yeah, it's.
I remember there being a big asking price for that.
Okay, let's see. So, according to Wikipedia, this is salary, not percentage-wise, and Keanu Reeves has got the #1 slot for the Matrix trilogy. His salary for The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions was $30 million. Between all three movies, he made $156 million. That's a lot of millions.
What were the budgets for all three of those movies?
I don't have that information on this chart. The chart doesn't know.
And that's all. That's between. Yeah, and that's between all three of those movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was about to be if that was just for each movie, that'd be fucking ridiculous because that's 30% of the 100.
Yeah, no. So yeah, the total was 156 between the three movies. So for The Matrix Reloaded, let me see if I can't find that real quick. So his salary for The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution, so the two sequels, his salary was $30 million. So I'm looking up The Matrix Reloaded, and
Matrix Reloaded budget was $150 million.
Oh,
yes.
Jesus.
Both budgets were $150 million.
So
he was about a fifth for both of those, right?
It's a sizable chunk of money right there.
Me, dude. That is. I need to get into acting.
You gotta cough up money for good talent, buddy. Quit being a cheapskate.
You're calling Keanu Reeves an acting goddamn talent right now?
He was back then. Everyone in the 90s ate that shit up.
Have you seen John Wick?
No.
You shut the fuck up then.
Ooh.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
What do you mean it doesn't count?
It's
his most recent movie.
Fight.
How does that not count?
Look.
Man, recently he sucked. Have you seen his most recent movie? No. Shut the fuck up then.
No, it's probably I saw the fucking trailer. That's all I needed to see.
I've heard nothing but good things about John Wick. I think that you will have to eat your hat and your words and maybe something else.
Look, if he's playing the stalwart hero where he's just monotone like he was in fucking when he was Neo and Constantine with a bit more personality, then fine, whatever. It's an action movie and it's a really amazing action movie from what I've heard. So I'm not knocking on its action movie potential. I'm just saying Keanu Reeves' spectrum when it comes to acting.
Trying to combine perspective with spectrum.
Precisely.
Perspectrum.
Right now, the things that really grind my gears are people that say the John Wick movie is bad without watching it. Bigotry.
I'm not saying it's bad.
See when. Since I have not seen the movie, I don't have the authority to tell Zach to go sit in the corner. But since you have, I'm giving you the authority to banish him to the corner of shame if you need to.
He needs to go to the corner.
All right.
Immediately.
You heard him, Zach.
Bad Keanu.
Immediately.
Okay,
go in the corner and think about what you've just done.
Look, the movies that he plays or that he's a part of are okay or good. But like I was saying, his spectrum or range as an actor goes from monotone, solitude emo hero to, what, dude, bro?
Can you do the rest of the podcast in that
Isn't
voice?
part of it just what he's been cast at, like the type of character he's supposed to be?
Pretty much.
Like the character Neo is
you're
supposed
basically-
to be like talking like that, and like it'd be different if he was supposed to be, a very character with a lot of personality. It was just a very bland portrayal. But usually the characters that you play end up being, just like
Look,
that.
Constantine was nowhere near that, though. Like, the movie Constantine, like, he was nowhere near... he was kind of close because of the smoking, but that was about it, and his somewhat somber attitude. But he was nowhere near as snarky as Constantine should have been. So it's like, look, it could be directors being like, hey, I just want you to act like this. Or it could be that he's been typecast to be that sort of emo, I work alone, solitude-based hero. Kind of like a Batman.
One can't just be the one and then stop being the one.
My favorite comment from chat right now is Mr. Wartburg. Dude, not everyone is Patrick fucking Stewart. It takes a certain level of skill to nail action roles, and there aren't many that can do it consistently. Look, like I said...
So is Wartburg in the chat right now?
Yeah, Mr. Wartburg is in the chat.
Hi, Wartburg!
He's giving me what for?
Yes, Wartburg, you give Zach the what and the what for and the who's that what over there. All that. Give it to him.
I'm just saying. I need to watch John Wick.
Yes.
And
speaking of things that you need to do and haven't actually seen, what was this Ticket to Earth thing you were talking about earlier? You had us watch this video. I have no idea what it is. What is it?
Okay, so Ticket to Earth is a game it's an indie title that's being developed, and it's going to have a lot of different elements. From what I can tell, it kind of looks like Dungelot, which is just a over-glorified Minesweeper, kind of. But it's going to be more complicated gameplay-wise, which I'm excited about, because there's turn-based strategy, there's some racing involved, and there's some micromanaging involved, and based on the art style that the trailer provided, which I'll just go ahead and give you guys a link to the Kotaku article.
It looks Minesweeper meets XCOM meets racing game?
Kinda, yeah.
It looked like a glorified mobile game to me.
It did. That's exactly what I thought. Is this sounds like a game that, if it was a mobile game, it'd probably be really fun for a mobile game. But
yeah.
It's not it's one of those passive games that you can kind of play in between waiting or use as you would for a mobile game. It's trying to be another one of the fusions. A couple of the recent games are trying to combine two normally not together genres and form something else. But this one doesn't seem to go too far.
I mean, it's a very brief trailer, and it probably is, to be honest, a mobile game.
Yeah, so to anybody that hasn't seen the trailer, a brief description from what I've seen, it looks like you've got these kind of stylized characters walking around on what looks a little bit like sand until suddenly the ground turns into a grid with all these little symbols on it, like a mixture between Minesweeper and Candy Crush, but flat. That's the ground that the characters are walking on. Yeah. And then you have to tell them where to go in the new XCOM fashion, where you click over here and click over there, and then they run and do the action. And aside from that, that's all I got from it. I didn't see anything like racing, so that's new to me. I don't know, but this is Ticket to Earth, and it's confusing as hell to me so far.
Yeah, to be fair, it's hard to do a game justice in a minute. I think it's because maybe it actually. I hope we're not I don't want to hurt the developers' feelings where it's it looks like a mobile game when it's
a mobile game doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad game. If you can make a really fun game to play as a mobile game, then that's great. It's just not. It might not be a very advanced game story-wise or anything like that, or it just might be a simplified version of the combat style.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for an interesting game overall, though.
So I like how you're excited about this, but you're not we're saying this looks like a mobile game, and you're no, you're defending it, but then for John Wick you're it looks shitty.
Well,
see how I brought that back around?
Shitty.
This was actually a burn.
It was the way the trailer was cut for the game that makes me suspect of it. It's very, very short. Like, it doesn't even show like what looks like an entire turn. Like, there's so many quick cuts for seemingly no reason.
I think it was just trying to get all the action in to be appealing.
But I couldn't tell what the gameplay was that entire time. It was just like words, action, word. I'm like,
probably like a Fire Emblem kind of game.
It's to appeal to the ADD in all of us. Like, look at how quick we can do editing. And you're like, wow, that's really fast editing.
Yeah.
It's really fast editing, but it's not like trying to do it. Like, that was one of the awkward things. I was like trying to get accurate representation of the play, and he's like very quickly showing scenes that you barely had time to register what was actually going on.
You know, maybe if it comes out, because it's coming out this year, if it comes out when I have the proper device or funds, I will purchase this.
All right.
Or if it's for free, I'll and we'll take a look and maybe do a review on Making the Rounds.
And when that happens, you better watch John Wick by then too.
Oh, most certainly. I'll watch John Wick at some point before then.
We'll be able to see John Wick 2 by then as well.
Oh, there's a sequel coming out? I did.
Yeah, it did so well. I got a sequel.
Know about that? Is it already out or is it coming out?
I think they finished filming. It hasn't come out yet.
Sweet. So I need to watch the movie too, so I can watch the sequel.
Yeah.
The movie came out of nowhere and was such a huge success that they're like, okay, we'll do a sequel.
Yeah. Is it like a diamond in the rough with Kingsman? Like Kingsman?
Yeah, similar. I guess.
Cool. I mean, it's not.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by diamond in the rough.
Well, it's just like when you see the trailer, you're like, what is this movie? Who cares? And then you watch the movie and you're like, fuck, dude, this is awesome.
I mean, I liked both the trailer for the Kingsman and John Wick, so I'm not really sure.
I'm making a straw man. I'm not saying that's my opinion. I'm just giving you an example.
So you're making a
the straw man's the one that needs a brain, right?
Yes.
Scarecrow. Okay,
yes.
Get a brain, Zach.
But you know what happens to straw men?
Scarecrow.
They get lit on fire and they burn.
Yes. They are short-lived. That is for sure. They live only for a brief moment. Poor straw men. You know, the scarecrows. They're my people. Gotta represent them.
You're really worrying me now. Maybe you spent too much time in the corner. You can come out now. It's okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. You know, when it comes to like corners and like in that whole punishment, there are a few games that have been punished by our wonderful and glorious streaming service, Twitch.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
I actually
not safe for work.
Really enjoyed that article.
It's silly. It's really.
I didn't know there was so many of the games that like
porn loosely disguised as a video game.
Yes, I was expecting that.
It's a list of like 14 games that are banned. Like, you can't, if you try to stream them on Twitch, you'll be like stopped, blocked, or even like suspended from streaming them. And the quality or the type of games on the list seem to vary a lot. To some was a specific subsection of visual novels. There's a lot of visual novels out there, but specifically like all of the Sakura titles and things like that have been blocked off. And
yeah. From what I got from the list was that it was all pretty much almost every single one of them was a game where you're gonna see tits and or sex and or rape, with the exception of one little gem. And this is the only reason why I like this list, because it surprised me. It's called Rinse and Repeat. And it takes place in a shower. You are a naked dude showering with other naked dudes with pixelated penises, but otherwise the nudity is incredibly realistic, like chest hair and everything. And the little screenshot actually has the guy wearing like aviator glasses in the shower. How they're not steamed up, I don't know. But I'm like, I need to find this game. just check it out. I did not expect this. I just expected a bunch of like pedophilia, Japanese type tentacle monsters and other sort of creepy shit like that. And then Second Life was on there. But this was genuinely surprised me. I had no idea someone needed a all-male shower simulator game. Bravo, people who made that game. Bravo.
Listen, it was a grueling process.
Did a lot of research. You're my hero.
Did a lot of research. Spent a lot of time in some showers.
So that's the real reason why you joined the football team. It wasn't because you enjoyed throwing the ball around. It's because you like to watch the balls in the locker room.
I thought it's because you like catching the balls.
It's because I had a passion for video games. All right, and that's why.
That's why
I joined the football team.
He did it for the art.
I'm sensing judginess. I don't appreciate it.
I mean, don't worry about it. It's just, I mean, some of these games are obviously like I said, porn loosely disguised as a video game. But I mean,
there was one that was literally like the first one on the list. I was surprised, like even like was needed to be banned because it was like it looked straight up porn versus visual novels, which usually tease it. Especially the soccer games, they kind of tease things, but they never actually show anything significant.
So. No, okay, so talking about, like, weird shit on this. So right above the game called Rape Lay.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's pretty much, the title sums it up. There's this other one that I have no idea how to pronounce. Purintuaruhu, whatever. Where you've got this anime girl, she's in the bathtub, you're in the bathtub with her, facing her, and you pretty much can just, like, it's got jiggle physics in her tits, so you can, like, grope and play with her boobs, and there's a little timer in the corner, like, showing how long you've been doing it, and a little score counter in the upper right-hand corner, like, how good you're doing it, and then, like, if you get tired of groping her, you can knock her out. And it doesn't elaborate on what she can do once she's knocked out. I'm just using my imagination and thinking it's probably absolutely horrible. So, like, this is the shit that's on here. Well,
it's just a very respectful time.
And it's not all sexual stuff. There's a game called Grizzo 1 and 2, and it's just super violent, and there's like you're killing defenseless people and shit like that. So
that's what it says, but is it just me or looking at the screenshot? Am I seeing like disembodied penises like flying through the stuff there? It says it's just gore, but those look awfully phallic to me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was like the previous few games where it's like you see all this like sexual stuff, and then that's all you're thinking about, and then you see all the like 16-bit graphics, and you're like, oh, that's obviously a 16-bit penis. You know?
I think my favorite one here has to be the cookie clicker clone.
Yeah.
That's said to be pretty boring, but you get trophies for like clicking the most, I don't know what, clicking the most dicks or boobs. It doesn't really say what you're clicking.
The goal, they've had Let's Plays of that game. The goal is basically to acquire as many viewers for these cam sessions as possible, and those trophies mark like milestones of viewers. And you acquire viewers by like going through cycles of clicking this and that and this and that, and so it's very tedious.
The platinum and diamond trophies are particularly entertaining because, like, the bronze trophy is like a half flaccid penis. The silver is like definitely is almost at full mast. The gold is fully erect. Then the platinum one is actually like shooting some jizz out the top. And then the diamond one has got like the same penis shooting jizz, but it's got wings on the side, and then it's on a pedestal, and holding up the pedestal are two naked chicks. It's like this is what you want right here. It's got like 100K people. You want 100K people, and you get the flying dick spurting cum monster. Like, what the fuck? Who thinks this up?
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, people who they're sex cells, I guess. I don't know. On both spectrums.
It was also a direct, like, maybe not direct sequel, but it was like a sequel to the already like very popular game, which was the gosh damn it, it's also on the list, and for some reason I can't name right now. The one that's like, what the?
Honey Pop.
Yeah, it was a sequel. Like it used those characters again with a couple extras, and because Honey Pop had already spread kind of virally, then this one was going towards that as well.
Ooh, I think another notable name on the list, though, is the Artificial Academy games.
Oh.
Because apparently, so most of them, like, except for that one, like I said, is focused more on, like, over-sexualizing and raping women. This one, like, it's kind of like a dating sim, and it has a very elaborate, like, sex mechanic, but this one allows you... It takes place in a school, so it's even more perverted, but you can also play as either a male or a female character, so it's got a little bit of equality going in how perverted you want to be.
Of course.
It's all-inclusive.
And before we wrap things up, I was sent a straw poll that I'd like everyone to participate with.
A what?
It's a straw poll. People who like you. It's like a poll that you can make and then send to your friends and stuff. And it goes as follows: Is Zach always wrong? and here are your options. Here are your options: yes, of course,
Yes,
duh,
yes,
C.
yes.
Oh, look at that, bilingual options, man.
Where's
straight up Tumblr
where's
right
all
now,
of
you
the
guys.
above? I need an all of the above option.
Well, Mintastic Berry, aka Daniela, didn't put that option.
Mintastic Berry, you needed to have a all of the above option. How could you fail me like this for the last time? Let's see if she's ever on the podcast again. Has she been on the podcast again? If not, she's never been on the podcast now. You failed me for the last time, Mintastic Berry.
You met me for the first time and failed me for the last.
Precisely.
I mean, it's a little unfair, but, you know, I already said it, and I can't backpedal, otherwise I'd be breaking my words. So, if you've not been on the podcast before, Mintastic Berry, I know it's a little unfair, but life's not fair.
Yep.
Just gonna have to deal with it and learn to forgive me in time.
Okay, so you guys want to see live what's happening. So currently, yes has 2 votes, of course has 4 votes, duh has 1, and C has 1. So currently, of course is winning by a landslide. Of course, you know.
Let me add my vote. Here we go.
Perfect. Wonderful.
I've added my vote.
All right.
9 votes total. This is good. So, of course is winning.
Is this like a presidential election? Can I do a write-in ballot?
Can I do a write-in ballot?
You may, because it's not going to do any good.
Innate... Oh, motherfucker. Mr. Wartburg, you piece... Bilingual, ? Sounds like someone is overcompensating for their innate bigotry. I don't have to grind my goddamn gears. Also, I don't list things tiered.
Yes,
I
you
don't
do.
that.
You
That's
do
not how
list
I do
things
things.
tiered. Every single time we
knows.
bring up any sort of topic, especially when
I
you
didn't
always
say top
you
three.
always
I
say
said
waffles then pancakes because you like waffles better than pancakes. You always list them first, so there's precedent that you list things in order that you like.
Unless you can specify it's going to be a countdown, like a top 5, and then usually you list the number 5 spot first and continue down to the last one, which is always the best. So
yes,
it's usually an order list one way or the other.
To be fair, based on what Dark said, I mean, previous evidence would state that that's how I do
I think
things.
he's bigoted against pancakes. Like, he lists things and he's bigoted.
Yeah.
Listen, Zach, you just need to know, you used to call me on my cell phone late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone late night when
fuck
you need my love.
you!
I know
piece of
when that
shit.
hotline blinked.
You're the worst.
That can only mean one thing.
I'm changing my list.
I know when that hotline blinked.
It goes Seawin
That can
Drake
only
bigotry.
mean one thing.
I'm changing my list. Changing my list. It goes Seawin Drake bigotry. I've decided.
What? You're keeping
How
that
it is a tiered list. I've also changed my mind. It's a tiered list. Also, I agree with Phantom Rose. Waffles always over pancakes.
Whatever. we can't get any better than that, dude. I know it's a little short, but I think we should totally end on that note because that was
I'm
like
going to right now.
zing. Oh, good job, Sue. Oh, I'm broken now. Oh, unless anyone else has something they want to add.
So, thank you for listening to the Forum Thread podcast. If you'd like to follow the rest of the podcast, we are on iTunes under the Forum Thread. We also have our Twitter and our YouTube account for the Forum Thread Productions and Forum Thread on Twitter. We have the TFT Plays, YouTube and Twitter as well, where we're posting a lot of new Let's Plays on a more regular schedule. We finally have that one together. And of the most recent, we're about 10 episodes into the Hardcore series. It's still going strong.
Yes, and in chat I posted what our schedule will be for releasing content on a weekly basis. We'll be posting this again to Twitter, and what will be making us a meme-tastic video for YouTube. So
it's kind of like a TFT TV guide in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
So look on it and get yourself ready for the TFT invasion coming to your computer screen near you.
Yeah, pretty much. Alrighty. With that, we can now say goodbye to everyone.
Everybody say goodbye. Good night, everybody. We will see you again, same time, next week, same time, same place. Adios, Mufasa.
Mesa.